with that familiar intro. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations about network marketing. Hi, I'm my co-host, Dr. Wayne.
Hi, BK. Hi, everyone.
Today we're going to take a slight departure from our usual content-heavy topics or sessions. Instead, we're going to visit some commonly asked questions or frequently asked questions by the listeners, right? Whether is it from a message they left on our the various sites or they just simply message us, right? Dr. Wayne, you want to take it away with the first question?
Yes, and normally what we do before that is we go through what we did last time. And last time was actually a culmination of about three different episodes where we spoke about everything you need to know to rank Thanks successfully. And we put it together with the Phoenix Rising, how to allow a network marketer to understand the new 3.0 in marketing. We went through emotional direct response marketing. We went through how to look at your avatar or your ideal client USP. We went through so much in the marketing realm. I hope you really got that and listened to it because there's so much content in there. And if you didn't, BK will go through how you can get that content later on. But it certainly was a deep dive, wasn't it, BK, into the marketing and how we can align ourselves with understanding the different universal laws once we understand the marketing principles.
Yeah, certainly. So please, if you want to catch our previous episodes as well as the previous archive episodes, we've been going on for a few seasons already. Just check us out at networkmarketerpodcast.com, networkmarketerpodcast.com. If you're watching us on a live right now, you can see that on the screen below you.
Excellent, excellent. And the main thing about this podcast is BK and I, we sat down and we worked out, okay, what are the burning questions that we believe is on everyone's network marketing lips? And these are the three burning questions. Why are others doing so well and why I feel stuck? The second one then is why are others building their network marketing businesses easily without bugging their friends, family, and loved ones? And the third one is, and why are other people's teams actively recruiting like roaring lions, and my team seems to be asleep like a sloth? And these are the burning questions that BK and I will answer and give you the answers through this podcast. So one of the questions that we get asked a lot, which I suppose aligns with question number one in a way, is how do I move forward when I feel in overwhelm? You can put any word, I suppose, after that. How do I move forward when I can't complete a sale? How do I move forward when I feel as if my team's not duplicating? How do I move forward when I feel stuck? So this question, you can really put anything after it, and it is about the same answer. So I'm just going to have a drink of water. I'm a bit dry. So it is typically around the same type of answer, and I'll go through that shortly. And the main thing is to, first of all, just allow yourself to be in that emotion for not for long, but just especially if you are right in there right now and you have to actually answer something or do something, you really don't want to be stuck in that for very long. However, if you have enough time, what I want you to think about is just really, really feel the depths of that overwhelm or feeling stuck or whatever it might be. Because usually what you'll find is that is a part of something that goes back a long while. You might be able to identify with it at this particular time, but what you'll be able to do is look at it and go, okay, I have felt this feeling before, that's for sure. And the way that we overcome it then is we feel it and then we go, yep, that's a part of my past. That's not where I want to be right now. Where do I want to be now? And so there's two ways to look at this is when you really, really feel stuck, the hardest thing is then to actually go to a really strong positive emotion. And generally I suggest not to do that. When you're really feeling an overwhelm or stuck, or whatever the emotion may be, just look at it in terms of what can I do right now that's going to allow me to feel better. So we want a feeling of gratitude, we want a feeling of happiness, whatever that may be. And that might be just walking outside and if you've got a garden, just walking in the garden just to feel, to get yourself out of the position that you're in, get your body moving in a different way, looking at something differently, and allowing you to become unstuck by a different environment, but do it in a small way. Because what you'll generally find if you really, really are in an overwhelmed situation, to move from that overwhelm or that feeling stuck, or whatever it might be, to something that is totally positive in terms of even the word gratitude, sometimes even creates more overwhelm. So initially, it's literally trying to find something that you feel good about and something that allows you to feel encouraged that you can actually move forward. And a lot of the times, it's moving away from what you're actually doing. Now, this can only occur if you are not in a situation where you have to do something right then and there. So if you've got a prospect in front of you and you're feeling overwhelmed, you have to somehow get around this very, very quickly. But what I'm talking about here, before that a situation occurs, the best thing to do is to try and um, understand it in a space that allows you to feel safe and secure.
So in a sense, it's very interesting. So let's say, for example, you are feeling here, and you don't want to swing all the way to the other side, because both ends of the extremes are going to cause overwhelm, right, Dr. Wayne?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Instead, all you want to do is just to move the needle a little bit more to the positive side. That's all.
that's all. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. So I guess sometimes when we are here, I mean, we are so stuck and trying to rev all the way to the other side, we are actually also going to give ourselves a little bit of stress, right? So what we're trying to do is what Dr. Wayne is suggesting is, just move yourself enough so that you are just past the, from if this is the red zone and this is the positive zone, right? And you're just trying to move the needle a little bit past the into the positive side of things.
yes, yeah. And do whatever you feel that you can to do that. As mentioned, walking outside. Some people have suggested, "What about going for a spa?" And I said, "Yeah, if that's something that helps you, by all means, go and do that. But something that allows you to take your mind off and to allow yourself then now." The next key bit is once you've done that and you've taken yourself out of that area, what I want you then to consider is to literally then look at how can I change this so that it doesn't happen in the future? And remembering, if we look at it from a scientific point of view, 95% of who we are was pre programmed prior to the age of 7. And what typically happens is something happens at a young age. And then what happens then is it keeps on occurring after that in ways, especially if we keep on getting an overwhelm or feeling stuck, that in ways seems to be worse than the original. So I'll give you an example. So say, for example, you were 6 years old, 5, 6 years old, and this is the first time you've ever have to present in front of all your students. You're at school and you have to present in front of all your students, and you get a little bit of stage fright and you feel terrible. You actually go home and you feel really upset, and you tell your mum and dad, and they compose you. And then you got this fear about speaking in front of people, for example. And then what happens then? You might have to do it again in another month's time, and this time, because of your fear, what happens then is maybe you look over to Jimmy, and Jimmy's basically pulling faces at you. And unfortunately, now you actually feel a little bit worse than you did at the first time. And now you might be 16, and now you have to give your first major speech because one of your friends has asked you to give a 16th birthday little speech or something like that. And then so you can see what I'm trying to say. It then becomes something that now you may be 40 or 30 or 50, and now it's a huge problem where getting up on stage is a definite no way, I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm going to do that. So, for example, how would we then get over that? I'm just using this as a real example in the network marketing industry, because even if some people feel that stuck, that they can't even get up on stage just to be awarded their rank advancement award. They can't even do that because they feel stuck. Even if they don't have to give a speech or even say anything, they feel an overwhelm just because of that. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. But we've got to do, and we talked about this in network marketing with regards to your ideal client, and this is something that BK and I teach in terms of your ideal client. If I rang you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, "What's your ideal client?" you should be able to sit up and actually recite your ideal client in a really non-flustered, loving and compassionate way that allows your ideal client to be revealed to me in that manner with gratitude. Not so to speak, but in a way that allows you to actually deliver that message in a way that I can feel that ideal client in the words that you're saying. And it's the same with using the analogy or the example of standing up in front of people. Literally get up there in your own mind, remembering the mind does not know the difference between reality, a dream, or visualization. And what you do then is through meditation or through visualization. To me, they're the same, but we're just using different words. When you're standing up in front of people, see yourself in front of people, giving the speech that you want to give, and literally feel. This is the important bit: is to feel the emotions you want to feel. Not the overwhelm and the feeling stuck and the embarrassment or whatever it may be, but feel the emotions that you want to feel as you're giving that speech. Feel the teaching side of you, that personality, that you're visualizing this. The most important part is to bring up that emotion as if it's real in your heart. And the more that you can do that, and the more that you can stay in that, what will happen is when that time does arrive, you'll actually find when you're up on stage that it's a lot easier. Now, will you still be nervous? Of course you are. You talk to any great speaker, they're still nervous when they get up on stage. I think the worst thing that you can ever be is if you've been bombarded by that much stress, you don't feel anything. And you can feel a person who gets up on stage and doesn't feel anything, because there's nothing that comes across the airwaves from the speaker to the audience that allows you to basically to connect with that person. But if you've got that ability to be able to connect through that visualization we talked about, all of a sudden things can change dramatically. And this is how we can move forward when we're in overwhelm or when we feel stuck.
And since we are on the topic of being stuck,
Okay.
Dr.
BK,
Wayne
anything there, mate?
Dr. Wayne is in a freeze frame.
Hello.
Are you there? You hear me?
Hello. Oh, we're totally stuck, are we?
And maybe we just ask Dr. Wayne to join us again.
BK.
So in the meantime, if you want to catch our previous episodes, please do check us out at networkmarketerpodcast.com. We're just running into a little bit of technical difficulties. We were on the topic of being stuck, and as you can see, Dr. Wayne was in a freeze frame. And he is back. Give me 1 second. Let me bring him back on. And are you back? Yes.
What happened then?
You were frozen.
The
you
internet.
were stuck.
I was stuck, wasn't it?
Yeah, you were talking about the topic of being stuck, and it ended up being stuck. Let me just
How much did I
check.
get into?
Murphy's Law. They say when whatever will fail, right?
Yes, very
So
true. Very
anyway,
true.
basically, Dr. Wayne just had to rejoin us, and we are fine. Now, so this is a live stream. So sometimes some people are very hesitant about doing live streams, and they're worried that things will happen. But the honest truth is that the audience actually, just to give you the people out there, if you're listening to this or you're watching us, if you're thinking, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a network marketer and you're thinking of doing lives, and then you're kind of afraid to venture forward because you think, what will happen? What if something happens? Let me assure you that it's not a question of what if. It is a question of when. Something will happen. But the thing is, the audience is actually very kind and very forgiving and kind of expect that things like this do happen from time to time. And it just happened to us. And what all we needed to do was Dr. Wayne just left the stream, and then he came back on, and see now he's properly he is
I'm
just back
back.
to
I'm
normal. He's
back.
back, right? He's back. And on the same topic, right? Like what Dr. just to add on to what Dr. Wayne was sharing, if you're had feeling a kind of like all kinds of anxiety about doing something, it might be helpful as well to give yourself a certain ritual or routine before you embark on that thing that gives you anxiety, right? I
Yes.
give you an example, like live streams like this, right? Live streams like this. When I first started doing them, it was honestly nerve wracking to just hit the go live button, right? No joke, right? It's kind of like, if you're a network marketer, the first time you're going to pick up the phone, it is kind of nerve wracking as well for some people, right?
Yes.
So what I did was, and what I realized helps me to kind of soothe my, ruffle feathers and so on, right? Was to do a simple routine, which was for me to go and make a cup of coffee, right? Because I brew my own coffee. I have to measure the beans, and I grind them myself, and then I do a pour over. I make myself a kind of my own special coffee, right? And that 5 to 10 minutes of doing something in a concentrated manner that is slightly different from what I was about to do, which is to go live. And then as I bring my cup of coffee onto my table, and then I can hit the live button very easily, right? So it has become a kind of a simple routine, right? So that in a sense, it tells my brain and my whole being that, okay, coffee is made, let's go live.
And that's exactly what we were talking about before, BK, with regards to when you feel in this overwhelmed, stuck position, what can you do to allow you to actually feel better? So just simple things like with yourself, you've got in the routine of the coffee. Someone else that might be walking outside into the garden before they come and hit the button. The same as when you've got a prospect, you've got a phone call to make, and you've got phone calls to make. What can you do then to allow you to feel better before you do it? And the next advanced technique, which I'm not sure of how much we talked, I was before I froze, with regards to is then I encourage you to basically to get out in front of it is one way of putting it. So visualize yourself speaking to someone. Visualize yourself having a positive outcome. Really visualize yourself doing this many, many times, and remembering the most important part about visualization to make it work so that it now embodies you is to feel that emotion of what you want your prospect to feel in your heart as you're doing this from a visualization point of view, meditation point of view. The more that you can do that by getting ahead of it, it becomes easier. Then you put the ritual that BK's talked about, or the one that we mentioned in terms of going out in the garden, whatever it may be. What happens then? It just gets easier and easier and easier. And it then just flows so much better for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So question number two is I know I need a plan B in this weird economy, but I'm unsure if network marketing is for me, which is a big question in terms of, I think, on everyone's lips. And even if I reflect back to the days when network marketing wasn't on my lips, it wasn't on my radar. But now, as BK and I have said many, many times, we believe network marketing is one of the cleanest industries you can be in. And the reason that we say that, we'll probably more into number 3. We'll get into that, but it's what I generally find in life is that whenever you really want something, so say for example you visualize passive income, you want a passive income stream of 2,000 to 3,000 a week that is guaranteed, not something that is up and down, not something that is hard work or difficult or anything like that, but something that is guaranteed to, as long as you put an X amount of work in, that's going to allow you to end up with, say, 2,000 to 3,000 a week, or even if it might be $200 to $500 a week, whatever that figure may be. What then happens is things then will come your way, and you've got to be now intuitively aware that even though you might not like something, so for example, with myself, I'm always looking for passive income streams in different ways that I can create legacy wealth for my family. That's one of my major whys, for example. And what happened to me many years ago was, of course, network marketing come across my radar again. And I really didn't want to go down that line, but when I was presented with a product that was just incredible, and I knew about the product, but there was nothing on planet Earth that was similar to this product, I knew I had to look in deeper into it. And when I looked in deeper into the product, it was unequivocal that this product could help people to realms that I've never seen before. So then what I did then is I went and I did more research into network marketing. I ruled out that network marketing is not a Ponzi scheme. I ruled out that network marketing is not a pyramid scheme. When you look up the definitions of those two things, you'll definitely know that network marketing is not in those realms. So I ruled that out, and then what I did then is I then joined and then, okay, what are the positives about this? But for each person coming in, and especially in today's world, especially with the changing nature of business and everything that's happening in businesses today, like you look at the brick and mortar business, for example. Unfortunately, the changing world of brick and mortar business, so I read a Yelp survey that said, yes, it was 60% of people whose businesses closed down due to the crazy times that's happening now ended up being permanently closed. 60% of small business. This is your typical brick and mortar business. So the second way that businesses can now, you can look at business would be maybe an online business. So if you look at an online business, BK knows the challenges of online business. Whenever you're looking at lead generations, you're now actually open to the challenges of understanding the rules and regulations around how to do a Facebook ad, how to do a YouTube ad, and all these different regulations can actually stop you from moving forward. The actual platforms change, and as we talked last time, I think there was a platform change within the system that we actually use here, and we found that there was a little glitch because of that. And I was speaking to someone just recently, and they had, I think it was something like 100,000 sales in a day, and it crashed their systems, and they spent a lot of money trying to get all that back up in line again. So then you've got online, but it does have its challenges as well, even scammers and people who rip you off, etc. as well. And then another way of looking at business is possibly an online and an offline, so a brick and mortar business with an online business. And that is another way you can look at business, but unfortunately it too has its negatives. That is even larger because of the two things I just spoke about as well. When you look at network marketing, the only thing you have to do is talk to people. Now, if you look at any business, no matter what it be in, even if you want to be a plumber, for example, if you want to be a roofer, if you want to be a carpenter, if you want to be a X, Y, Z and work for yourself, you have to talk to people. You have to sell yourself. You have to sell the tools or the thing that you're doing. But the good thing with network marketing is you don't need the inventory. You don't need the stock. You don't need to spend a lot of money to actually like think of a let's use a carpenter for example. They've got to buy a car. They've got to buy all the equipment. They've got to buy the drop saws. They've got to buy this and this and this and this just before they start. And then there's so many challenges that a brick and mortar business, online businesses have, whereas a network marketing business, there's none of that whatsoever. Is there, BK?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is, I mean, there's two parts to that question just now, right, Dr. Wayne? The first part was, are you sure? I mean, I'm not really sure that I need a plan B. So just to answer the first part first, I think the answer today is a resounding yes.
Yes.
The answer today is a resounding yes because just a quick survey amongst my friends I hear things like they've either suffered pay cuts
Yeah.
or they have reduced hours, therefore resulting in lower pay, uh, or some of them are not even sure whether the business or the job they are in is going to be around because the bosses are telling them that hey, I may not be even be able to survive the next month, the next 2 months or something like that, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think in a very large sense, the first part of the question is, do you need a plan B? I think right now at this point, current very unusual times, I'm guessing the answer would be a yes, right? Would be a yes, right?
Yeah.
And then it comes to the second part is whether network marketing is suitable for you. I can't decide for you, right? We have been sharing about all the good things we feel about network marketing, but let me share my perspective on or how I decided to get into network marketing. It was actually very simple. I took a very long hard look at my bank balance, right, which was near to zero, right? And if you are trying to start a business, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's not possible to start a business with zero. If you have a great idea, you could probably go out and find, venture capitalists and so on and pitch to them. That's possible, right? But that's not easy as well. But so when I was in a situation where I had almost a near zero bank balance and I wanted to start a business or I wanted to make sure I could start a business, then I started looking around and lo and behold, network marketing is probably the easiest thing you can get in to with
Yeah.
very little startup capital, right? It is still a legitimate business, but it involves very little, almost next to nothing startup capital, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
and gives you a huge potential upside. And that was it. That was how I decided, right? Whether it was suitable for me or not, right? And then the next part is, which actually nicely segues into the next question that Dr. Wayne, I think, is about to ask, right? So that was how I saw it, right? I needed money. I don't have a lot of money to start a traditional business or any kind of startup business that I envision. And I needed something that would help me get going at a low cost manner. And network marketing was it.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you look at the startup costs of business, like in small businesses, you can do it for approximately $10,000. I've read, but the average would be around about 100,000. And then when I was looking up research with regards to franchises, they started around about 40 to 50,000. That's for a really average one, but it's around about 260 to 300,000 for a good one. That's a lot of money you've got to invest, and then you've got royalties, and then you've got all these other things that you've got to pay out as well. It just goes on and on, unfortunately, in terms of how much money you need to start up. And in a network marketing business, in terms of US dollars, it can be as little as just to get involved, $40 US dollars just to get involved. And then from there, you can start building your business. And those people who want to really go ahead, you might want to spend $1,500. But anywhere between 1,400 to 1,500 US is generally the average price for a network marketing to get into a network marketing company, which is so cheap, and you don't have to worry about website back end. You don't have to worry about stock being shipped out. You don't have to worry about staff, or imagine if you did have staff and all the different types of wage, all the different things that you've got to do then for staff and team, etc. as well.
Yeah,
Um,
precisely.
so
In fact, like what Dr. Wayne was saying just now, not don't even have to talk about actually starting a business. Sometimes just to start a business, things like registration, opening a
yeah,
bank account, getting your licenses and all those things, those can actually cost you thousands of dollars already. Even before you got started, you already had to come out with thousands of dollars. And so, network marketing, in a very large sense, removes most of these barriers, which is why many times you hear people say things like, it is a dream opportunity for the everyday folk, the everyday man,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you don't have to invest a lot of things, but the upside is up. The upside is definitely huge. I mean, it depends on you. We have
yes,
personally seen people who are happy making a couple of $100 every month just to cover their products. We know that people are like that,
yes,
and we
yep,
call them happy customers actually, you know and then there are
yep,
people who are happy to have a part-time income of like a few $1,000s, that's to kind of like bring the family for an occasional holiday, or maybe sign up the children for classes, like piano lessons or guitar lessons, right? And they're happy with that, right? That's what network marketing can do for them. And of course there are people that makes the 50, 100, 200,000 a month income, the legacy style income. Those are also friends of ours, we
yes,
know. And so the it's such an equal opportunity platform, but the startup cost, and the thing is this, all those examples I just said, every single one of them started with the same low cost
yes, yeah.
investment, right? But how far you take it is entirely up to you.
And then when you look at just talking about that legacy income you were talking about, and you said two things there, that just trying to join them together. One of it is the legacy income, and the other one is, the average person can take this wherever they want. So think of now someone who is now a CEO of, let's even say Apple, for example, um, or a CEO of a large company, or even someone who is now a surgeon or something of that nature. So imagine the years and years of study and etc. that they had to have done, and their income is X, and the income would be exceptional, that's for sure. But the interesting thing is an average person with no credentials whatsoever, nothing whatsoever, just went to grade 11 or 12, or maybe didn't even go that far, can actually take network marketing and earn 100 to 200,000 or more per month. That's the great opportunity that this allows anyone to come on board and allow them to be able to create legacy wealth. And as BK eloquently said, it just depends upon you. And it really goes back to question number one, which how do I move forward when I feel stuck? How do I move forward when I haven't got the income that I want? What can I do? And remember, the first thing we said is just to allow yourself to do something simple. Move through that first. The second thing then is visualize yourself. What would you visualize if you were receiving $200,000 a month? How would you feel? What emotions would come up? And the more times you do that, the law of attraction, the law of these laws then will start working for you. These laws of the universe, which we've talked about in prior episodes as well. So I think that's an incredible positive about the network marketing company. Network marketing industry, in terms of how much money you can make and how little money whatever you want is certainly available through network marketing.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is that anyone the thing is that if someone has done it, then somebody else can do it, right? So if you look at the industry on a whole, you notice that just like Dr. Wayne mentioned, right? There are people who are now, of course, some of the top earners. Some are very highly qualified, very highly trained, they might have been successful in another career and they switch to network marketing, right? Of
Yeah.
course, some of the top earners are also very, very normal, regular, everyday folks, right? Some of them might even be, even before they join the industry, they were perhaps just a housewife, right? They were at home and taking care of the family, and they have no, they may not even have graduated high school or just high school, uh, uh, but they are now at the highest earning ranks of of any company,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So so when you look at this and you realize that, hey, if all these people can do it, it tells you that you can do it too, right? And all you need to figure out is what did they do to get there, right? What did
Yes.
they do
Yes.
to get there, right? And if you repeat what they do, I mean, we can't guarantee that you get the same amount, but we can guarantee that you definitely will get somewhere for sure, right? It might take you a little bit longer. It might also be, it might not take you that long as well. It really depends on how, because this industry, and what I liked, somebody said earlier on, is that it's an industry of enterprise, okay, and
Yeah.
not a capital. It's not an industry of capital. It's not like you need to put in capital. You need to put in your enterprising spirit. The more you can, the more you will reap the rewards from the industry.
Most definitely. And how do you do that? Just going back, and it's. I think. I think the problem with these two things we're trying to talk about, BK, meditation and the network marketing industry, is it's too simple. Where we want complex for some reason. So why do I say that? So think of meditation, sitting still for 10 to 15 minutes a day, I think is simple. Okay. But most people won't do it. Oh, yeah, I've heard about meditation. Oh, yeah, I think I should do it. I tried it once, but my mind went everywhere. I didn't want to do it. I've tried it for about 6 months and it really didn't do what I wanted it to do. It's sitting still, which is simple. The if it, the simplicity part about meditation is letting everything go within your mind. That now comes a bit complex. But how do we do that? How can we let the mind go so that we can use the universal laws in our favor? Well, what we do is we set an intention. So whatever that intention may be, so it might be to earn $500 a week, whatever that may be. And then what you do then is just think of, before you do your meditation, how would I feel if that happened, or when that happened? What would be the feelings? I'd feel safe. I feel secure. I feel confident in myself. If I had a weekly income that was guaranteed passively, I'd feel so much gratitude and just love for the world. Whatever those feelings are, that's the most important thing to try and feel during that meditation. The more you do that and the more you simplify your meditation, like these days, what I try to do is just get the feeling of being happy, of being joyous, of being in gratitude and being free. I just try to get that feeling. I don't even set an intention anymore. I just try to get that feeling and try and hold that feeling for as long as I can. These days, I even do it when I'm walking. I'm doing walking meditations whereby I'm walking, noticing everything around me, but I'm bringing that feeling into my being as often as I can. And as said, BK, I think a lot of people think it's too simple and therefore they think it's not going to work. And the same as the network marketing industry, it's too simple. We don't have to invest $200,000 or $100,000. We don't have to go and get a registration of a business name. We don't have to do this. We don't have to have a website. We don't have to have compliance. Or, sorry, we don't have to put in compliance into our websites and work all that out, terms and conditions and all the other things. We don't have to have salespeople or staff. We don't have to have so many things. It's so simple. People think, it's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. It won't work. But if we think of it, I think personally, what I think is the more that we can find things that are simple and easy to do, it frees up so much of who we are so that we can become that person that's deep down inside us.
Exactly. So it is simple, but it still needs work. Huh? So we just want to make
Yeah.
sure will qualify that.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely. Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Like even
it's
sitting
a
still for 10 minutes, it still needs work.
yes, yeah, it still needs work. You still need
Yeah.
to put in your hard work and effort and enterprising spirit and all that. But
Yes.
it's not something like that is complicated and difficult. For example, like you got to study 6 years to 8 years before you can become a brain surgeon, right?
Yeah.
That's complicated. That's definitely complicated, and that's definitely highly skilled. You need to go through a lot of training, be able to do that, to pull it off, right? But network marketing
Yeah.
is simple. Somebody can join today and start today and earn today, potentially, right? That's
Yes.
that's as
Yes.
simple as that. You do not have to wait 8 years, right, to graduate with a degree in network marketing before you can start doing network marketing. No, you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
So you can literally start today and earn today, right? So that's what we mean by it is simple, right? But then there are certain efforts that must still be still put out certain things that you need to do, right?
Yeah, yeah. And we've had case studies, BK, where we've known of people who have started a network business and within 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 14 weeks, they're now earning two to $3,000 a week because they understood the simplicity of it, meaning they just went out and spoke to people. So, or they just went out and they actually lead generated. They may have done that through Facebook or whatever it may have been. No, every business needs a lead generation system. This business is no different. It is in terms of we need actionable steps, that's for sure. But in terms of what we need to do is simple. We don't need to go and register. We don't need this. We don't need to do that. All these things we don't need to do. We only need to do one thing, and that is go out and talk to people, whether that with this new economy, which is unbelievable because the good thing about this new economy now is everyone has easily accepted Zoom or phone calls for communication. We're doing that all the time, which allows it once again to even be more simpler and because we have so much technology that helps us to get to where we want to get to.
Exactly. And I think we do not have time for the last
No,
question.
I was thinking the same thing actually, BK, because that is a big question on its own. Number three, how do I find a company that resonates with who I
Yeah,
am?
that
Yeah,
probably deserves an episode on its own.
I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So thank you, Dr. Wayne, for being with us today and then taking us through these commonly asked questions. And once again, if you're watching us live, just let us know that you're watching us live. And or if you're watching this on replay, just let us know by typing in the words replay so that we know how to, we know how to tailor our content for you as well. And of course, if you have more questions, you have questions that are you're trying to figure out and things that you're not sure, like maybe sometimes some of them could be technical questions about the industry, just feel free to ask us. We're happy to explore them if we can, right? We're happy to explore them if we can. Now, of course, in what we have found is that in our industry, there's a lot of content, but somehow, with some people, some of us are still not able to. It's for example, like if you think about it, two persons they have access to the same kind of training and the same kind of content from a company or from the industry, but yet one is doing very well, one is not doing well. So we want to address that disparity. Why is that the case? And
yes,
oftentimes it is the 6 inches between your ears, right? And this is what we're
yes,
trying to address here. So
yeah.
with that, we're going to say goodbye for another episode. So check us out at networkmarketerpodcast.com for previous archive episodes, right? You can even access the show notes because Dr. Wayne has kindly done show notes for us, right? So just check us out at networkmarketerpodcast.com. And of course, if you are in a hurry and you want to dive straight into the universal laws, then check us out at the numerical number five, 5hiddenreasons.com. That's the numerical number five, 5hiddenreasons.com, where we actually go into detail of all the universal laws and how you can access them and really take them, help them, make it work in your advantage, right? So thank you, Dr. Wei. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, BK.